Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen here from Redolessence, and welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for watching. And in today's episode, I'm going to be going over my top 10 most worn designer fragrances for the fall of 2019, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin the video, I do want to apologize because I know a lot of my subscribers want me to put this video out right at the beginning of the season, and so I'm a little bit late, but I think the good news is that this will be more of an accurate list for me because I can actually go back and see which fragrances did I actually wear, and therefore there are a lot of fragrances that I will be including in this list that otherwise, just through mere speculation, I don't think I would have worn, and a lot of them also happen to be recent acquisitions, and the reason for that is because I like to wear a fragrance for at least a week before I review it, and so you'll see a lot of fragrances sprinkled in here are brand new releases, and it's because I'm in the process of wearing them because I'm prepping for a review. I also want to mention that the top 3 fragrances in this video are available at Max Aroma. They're part of my November bundle, so if you're looking forward to sampling those fragrances, I'm going to leave a link for that down below. And there isn't a giveaway attached to this video, but I do want to say this will be part of a new initiative or a new type of video that I'll be filming on my channel, and it's called Spray It Forward. So kind of like Pay It Forward, but Spray It Forward. So part of this initiative is I will take all of the ad revenue that this video earns for the first week, I will lock it in, and I will donate it to a charity of your choice. And so if you would like to be a part of that, just leave a comment down below, and after a week's time, I'm going to ask you what charity you would like for me to donate it to, and all of that money will be donated under your name to a charity of your choice. And I'm also going to show my ad revenue and my earnings as part of a community post, in a week's time. So definitely make sure to stay tuned for that. So with that being said, let's get started. These have been my top 10 most worn fragrances in the autumn of 2019. The number 10 spot goes to a fragrance that I like to wear year in and year out. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. And this was also one of the most challenging fragrances to include in this list because typically when I'm thinking about which one to wear from this company, there's always two that are in a toss-up. And so it's either Pure Malt or the one that actually ended up making it this year, which is Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler. And the thing that I really like about this one is that it's a tobacco scent that is not too heavy on the tobacco. Sure, you can smell it in there and you can see how it defines the scent profile of the fragrance, but it doesn't smell like a Bois d'Ombry by Eau de Toilette. It doesn't smell like a Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. It has its own character, and it's one that I haven't seen being replicated yet to a certain degree. And so I really enjoy Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler. Really nice, spicy tobacco, vanilla, oriental type of a scent for the autumn. The number 9 spot goes to a fragrance that I purchased many years ago. I think everything on this list definitely has been purchased. My own money went into these fragrances, and this one I bought because it was love at first sniff. Sure, there was a bit of like a classy, mature element about this next one, but there's just something about it that is really likable and still contemporary, to say the least. And this one by Christian Dior is called Eau Sauvage Parfum. And I love wearing this one so much. It has that green, earthy sort of vetiver-y element, but there's also a component about it that's rather warm and resinous and a little sweet too. And so I think it strikes a nice balance between the two elements. The next fragrance in this list is one that I actually brought with me on vacation over the summer. So believe it or not, this is a fragrance that I love wearing in the fall that I won't wait until the fall to wear. Just because I enjoy the smell and it conjures up a lot of really positive memories, but I think the fall and the winter are the best times of the year to wear this. And this is L'Homme Idéal by Guerlain. But this is the Eau de Toilette version. I know a lot of people have love for the Eau de Parfum version. Yeah, sure, I find it to be a fuller, spicier, sweeter, more resinous, and perhaps fuller and richer version of the Eau de Toilette. But I feel like a lot of the elements from the Eau de Toilette have been compromised. And I feel like, especially the almond note, there's like a little bit of like this cocoa powder nuance that I pick up from it. It's just so delectable, and I personally love it. And so for that reason, I prefer the Eau de Toilette as opposed to the Eau de Parfum, despite the fact that I do agree with what a lot of people are saying, that the Eau de Parfum is a bit richer, a bit fuller, and a bit more dense. The next fragrance on this list is a brand new acquisition for me. Not brand new. I actually went on a cruise on August 24th out of Miami, Florida, and I bought this one on my cruise ship. And it was also available in the Bahamas. And so there was a store in the Bahamas called the Perfume Shop, if I'm not mistaken. And so I saw it in both locations. And so I've had this one since the summertime, but I've been waiting to wear this one just because it's a little bit more on the sweet side. And so this one by Jean-Paul Gaultier is called Beau. So this one, with the bottle especially, it reminds me, and I'm sure it would remind you, of Essence de Parfum, which is a fragrance that came out a few years ago, with the exception that the juice in this one is a bit more bright, and it also contains a note of coconut. And I think that that's a pretty cool addition. You know, whenever you think of coconut, you think of like Virgin Island water, or for me, I think of Harajuku lovers, and there's even like a mall scent that contains coconut. But this one, it has a certain richness that I think melds pretty well with the other sweet undercurrents of the fragrance. I'm not sure if I'm in love with it just yet, but it is one that I think I would prefer to wear over Essence de Parfum, but I don't think it's my favorite offering from the company. I think my favorite offering from the company is still Eau Fraiche, just because it's so bright and effervescent and easy to wear while still retaining a little bit of sweetness. And so that definitely goes in this spot. And then getting into my number 6 spot, I'm going to give it to a fragrance that, again, I've been wearing this for a few years. This is 1 Million Privé by Paco Rabanne. What I love about this one is that it has the same amount of sweetness, I would say, as the original, but it's a redefined and a reinvented sweetness. And so it doesn't come across quite as bubblegummy or juicy fruit-esque, but it smells a little more mature while still retaining a nice bit of sweetness and a masculine character about it. And so I really do enjoy 1 Million Privé. Is one that I have been wearing quite a bit of. I think I put a significant dent in it considering everything I have in my collection. So I really enjoy this one. Getting into the top 5, the top 5 fragrances are the ones for which I am the most excited. So my stepfather went to Cyprus this summer, and he purchased this fragrance while he was in Cyprus, and he actually shared it with me, and then he ended up purchasing another bottle for himself. But this is one that I smelled a few years back. I did a video with my good friend Chad, and I didn't quite remember just how much I liked this one. And so I had to basically keep this in my collection, and it's one of the reasons why he ended up purchasing his own bottle. But this one by Zadig and Voltaire is called This Is Him. This is such a nice, spicy, warm, resinous scent, almost a little boozy as well, but the inclusion of the spices in there are just so nicely done, so nicely blended. It's not offensive in any way, and it's a resinous scent that is different from the ones that I own, and so I find that it does have a certain layer of uniqueness about it. It's a really, really good scent. The next one on this list, I gotta be honest, I purchased just a few days ago, but I've been wearing it every day since then, just because I really want to get a good feel for it, and I am planning on reviewing it on the Redolessence channel. This one by Zara is called Vibrant Leather Oud. So this fragrance is composed by Jerome Epinette, who has done a lot of fragrances for Atelier Cologne and also by Byredo. And the thing about this one is it's a flanker of Vibrant Leather, which smells a lot like Creed Aventus. Well, maybe not a lot like Aventus, but it does kind of have that Aventus gene in there on account of a synthetic molecule called manzanate. And so this one is Vibrant Leather with like a more prominent leather undertone. The original Vibrant Leather doesn't smell anything like leather, so I don't know how it got its name. This one actually smells like leather. So the original should have been called like Vibrant Cologne or something, and this should have been called Vibrant Leather. I think that would have been a more accurate differentiation that conveys the olfactory profile of the scent. But in any case, it smells awesome. It doesn't quite smell like Aventus, although it still has a bit of that Aventus gene in there, but this is what a flanker should smell like. And so I'm really excited to wear this one more often. And I actually do see myself wearing it a lot more than these other fragrances, just because these two in particular I've worn a lot in previous years, and this one I like to save for special occasions. This one I have to be in the mood for. This one I don't know if I'm in love with necessarily, but this one I definitely see myself wearing it a lot more. Another one by Zara that came out this year that I love is Sublime Cedar. And that for me is a really good alternative to a Comme des Garçons fragrance that I really like. However, I think that this one might be a little bit more wearable, a little bit more accommodating on account of that Aventus gene. So now we're getting into the top three. All three of these fragrances are available at Max Aroma. Again, the links are going to be down below if you're interested in purchasing. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're watching this video, you've already sampled these fragrances, but if you haven't, check them out because I personally love them. So the next one that I want to talk about is one that I've owned for quite some time now. And for the year in which it came out, I said that this was my favorite scent that was released in that year. And I know there's a lot of love for it out there. And this one by Azzaro is called Wanted by Night. This has the sweetness of the original Wanted and a more glorified presentation, I guess. And it has this added spicy oriental component to it that I absolutely love. I remember filming a video with my friend Olya, who also has her own channel, and this also happened to be her favorite. This is the one that she ended up picking as her favorite fragrance. So there's a reason why it's so high up on this list. I really enjoy this one. Getting into my number 2 spot, so this is a double whammy here, and you'll see why. So I actually don't have a full bottle of the one that I've been wearing the most of this year. So the one that I've been wearing the most of this year of these two fragrances is called Spice Bomb Extreme. And so I've been using my Max Aroma Travel Atomizer, the lipstick style atomizer, but I'm going to use the original Spice Bomb in its place for display purposes. I like the extreme version because it retains enough of that original Spice Bomb DNA that people love and that I personally see myself wearing a lot in the autumn season. But it has a bit more of an amplified spicy component to it. I like the direction this one went in. I don't like the direction that Night Vision went in. Night Vision went in the direction of Invictus Aqua, and I just don't get it. I don't know why companies would do something like that. But in the case of this fragrance, I love this one. I think it's such a wonderful fragrance. And if you have an opportunity to smell the extreme version, I think the extreme version is also really, really good. And differentiating between the two and picking which one to wear all boils down to personal preference and what mood I'm in. And so sometimes I'm in the mood for this one, sometimes I'm in the mood for the extreme version. And that brings us down to my number 1 pick. This is the fragrance that I have been wearing the most of in this fall season. And this is one where every time I see the bottle, I'm like, I have a pretty good feeling that when I wear this one, it's going to be a good day, just because I personally love the smell. And I'm sure a lot of you have had an opportunity to smell this one, and I recently reviewed it, and I love this fragrance so much, and I find it to be the best flanker that this company has put out. And this one by the company Valentino is called Valentino Uomo Noir Absolute. This is the kind of fragrance that when people smell it, they think it's niche quality. And I personally endorse that. I do think that it's niche quality. It's daring, but it's still so likable. It's accommodating. It's very well put together. Just the quality of the ingredients used and the balance and the blend in which they're used, it just conveys luxury and opulence. And this is an amazing fragrance. Yes, it does have a bit of a diminished iris note. So if you're familiar with the original and that sort of hazelnut iris thing going on in there, this one doesn't have as much of it, but it's so much more warm and deep and resinous and rich, and you can kind of sense a theme here. I love this one so much. This is 100% my favorite fall fragrance of 2019, and if you haven't tried it, I hope you have an opportunity to try it very soon. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. These have been my top 10 most worn autumn fragrances for 2019, and this has been my designer list. If you, owner, have tried any of these fragrances, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also leave a comment down below and let me know what fragrances are you looking forward to wearing the most this fall, or what fragrances at this point have you been wearing the most this fall. I'm always curious to know, and I do reply to every comment. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.